esqueci de desmutar. Mano, olha a meta de streamer, velho. E streamer e youtuber, mano, ele tá entrevistando os atores, mano. Caralho! Boa noite, Matman. Obrigado por ter ficado aqui na live com a gente, mano. Boa noite, bom sono. Beijo na bochechinha, mano. Durma bem, homem. Calma aí, tio.
On this particular game, it's from 2013 and it is really impactful, right? It's a really huge game. And Joe is a really complex character, right? He's the hero of the game, he's the main character, but he...
Hero.
Yes. Yeah. In The Last of Us, the lines are blurred, right? Like he has a really huge trauma and he becomes a different person, right? In the game, we see that. You have to play a character that is the hero of the show, blurs the line between being a hero and being a villain too, right? He is really complex, he is crazy, violent, and how was this challenge to make the character that is so complex and you
Caiu o inglês dele, tá mó...
have to be the hero, but...
Imagina se a série ficar ruim. O David Jones vai falar mal até 2030 e com razão, mano.
At the same time, being the guy that we don't know really is, right?
There's so much source material to draw from, and also the love that Craig Mazin has for the game, and to team up with the creator of the game.
Neil, right?
Yeah, with Neil Druckmann, that puts me and the other actors, particularly myself and Bella Ramsey, in such good hands that what we have on the page really does most of the work. And then beyond that, we can only imagine what it would be for somebody playing the game to go
Ele fala devagar, né?
through the journey of the evolution and this kind of arc of being
É verdade, Yogi, o David Jones já assistiu a série já. Ele assistiu tudo já, mano.
a hero and discovering what you're capable of, what you will do to survive, what you will do to save the people that you care about. If it translates, that's the ultimate goal. But at least internally, mentally, emotionally, we have everything that we need to step into the shoes of the character and to breathe the air of the character, because there's just so much there on the page with our directors, with our production team, with everyone that's obsessed with the game and with its adaptation. So we really, there was no way to not experience every detail of that kind of a journey.
O Gui, depois de comprar a HBO, acompanhou as gravações, verdade. Ele foi o diretor, tá ligado? Eu vou abrir a entrevista do diretor aqui, vai aparecer o Gui lá sentado.
Hello, Craig. Hello, Bella. Amazing having you here in Brazil. Actually, no one knew that you were coming, right? Surprise! It's really, really amazing. So, start, Craig. You do a lot of stuff in the show. Like you are the showman of all of this, and you must know that video game adaptations has a bad rap,
Yes.
right? So what has
Aí o
been
microfone dele tá estourado.
done in this one made from HBO? Because this is really huge for us gamers, right? Yes. Having HBO doing this game that is so loved. What has been done to make this show like really popular and faithful, and that the fans will love too?
Yeah, that's a great question. I do love video games. Like everyone, I am aware that video game adaptations struggle. I think there are a lot of reasons for that. I think in part it's because certain video games just don't have the strongest story and characters and relationships. They have great gameplay or great world building. So people have to create a lot of stuff that wasn't in the game, and now who wants it, who is it for? Also, video games are designed to be played. You're supposed to be immersed, and gameplay is such a part of it. And television we just watch. So for Neil and for me, I think the first thing we said in a good way was we're starting with a game that has an amazing story with amazing characters and incredible relationships. And then the two of us, I think in the smart way, made it a TV show. We did not say, oh my God, we have to do everything exactly like the game. We have to carry the spirit of the game and the soul of the game. There are moments that we replicate faithfully and perfectly. There are entire episodes that contain new things and new characters. And I give credit to Neil for being so smart and flexible about how to adapt. The other thing I think that we have going for us is we have Neil. So we have the creator of the game. We didn't take this away from them and think we know better. Ultimately, Neil and I had a goal, and the goal was to make a show that people who played the game would love and make
porra, tá vendo? É mó simples, cara. É muito simples, mano.
a show that people who'd never even heard of the game would love.
That's the challenge, right?
And I think we did it.
Yeah.
I think we did it, honestly.
Why are you so important?
Somewhere out west. They're working on a cure.
Mano, ali ele já definiu todos os problemas que tem em todo tipo de adaptação de jogo, tá ligado? Que é aquela frescura de, não, vamos fingir que aqui, que eu sou o superiorzão. Pau no cu do criador do jogo, porque eu vou fazer o original, vai ser melhor. Fica uma bosta, tá ligado?
I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
If she so much as twitches.
And this is the first time you make a video game character, right?
Yes.
Do you, before you were The Last of Us, do you know about Joe? Do you know about this character specifically?
No, I didn't know. I found out about the job. I knew HBO.
Yeah.
I knew Chernobyl, Craig's
Chernobyl.
previous limited series for the network. When they started to talk to me about a series called The Last of Us, based on a video game, called my sister, who was with my nephews, and I started to say, they're talking to me about a show
Imagina a irmã dele. Caralho, você vai atuar nesse jogo? Imagina, velho.
that they're adapting from a video game called and both my nephews said, The Last of Us! And they started to freak out and say, you have to get this job, whatever you can, for them to offer you this part.
Nossa, que legal, mano.
And so from their direction and insistence, I did my best to convince Craig and Neil and HBO to please cast me as Joel. If I'm taking you with me, do what I say when I say it.
You got any advice on the best way west?
Yeah, go east.
So Bella, you play Ellie, of course, right? Ellie, we have The Last of Us 1 and we have the 2, part 2, right? And she's such a huge character in gaming, right? Do you knew Ellie before being called to the show? Do you play video games at all?
I don't play video games.
No.
I have like a Wii that I played.
Cara, essas pessoas não vivem. Mano, os caras são ator de Hollywood. Mano, os caras são as pessoas mais ricas do planeta. Como é que os caras não têm videogame, mano? Como é que eles não vivem a vida? O que esses caras fazem com o dinheiro deles, mano?
Mario Kart on occasionally, like.
Ah, mano, às vezes jogam Mario Kart uma vez a cada 3 meses. Meu Deus, eles fazem o quê, mano?
Once every 3 months. But I'm not like a gamer. But I had heard of The Last of Us and I'd heard of Ellie because she's so iconic and I'd seen various like news stories about her and about the game. So I had heard of it. But yeah, I'm not a gamer myself, but I mean she's so cool and it was so cool to be able to play her and to watch gameplay because I'm not skilled myself. I am going to try and play it now though.
I think that would be fun. Now you can.
I have it waiting to play and I just haven't got
The
around to
best
it.
part is she is Ellie, and it's interesting. You know, if you play the game and then you can, it's easy to fall into cosplay or imitation. Which is fine. I mean, I love cosplay, and I'm sure we have a billion Ellies walking around here in Brazil right now. To encompass
Nossa, é verdade, na BGS vai ter 1 milhão de Ellie lá, né, mano?
that character, to be that person, requires something inside that is different than just, oh, I watched something or I saw something.
É, isso é óbvio,
Ashley
né?
Johnson never watched anyone be Ellie. She just was.
Just made it, yeah.
And that's exactly what Bella was.
Yeah.
And the person that I think maybe loves her the most is Ashley Johnson, which says a lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love her.
Thank you very much. It was great.
Ah, sendo bem sincero, eu acho que ela devia ter assistido a história do jogo sim, mano. Ela devia ter jogado o jogo. Eu acho que seria melhor, mano.
And I'm looking really forward to seeing the show when it comes in January.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Be careful
Nossa, eles colocaram Take Me On de tema da música.
who you put your faith in.
Did you saw now that the shooting is done? You see the source material? Do you have ever played after?
Yes, I have.
Obrigado. Simples.
Yeah.
I keep on trying to learn how to do Italian, but whenever I play, I'm with my nephews that don't have patience.
Cara, ele é um velho, mano. Ele é full velho. Tipo, ele nunca tocou num videogame, mano. Tenho dificuldade de mexer nos controles, caralho, mano.
For my lack of skill.
Yeah.
So then they end up just taking the console away from me, and I sit and I.
Mano, é incrível. Não, isso que eu vou falar aqui é meio que assustador. Mano, assim, eu acho bizarro, assustador. Como que ator é uma parada, mano, muito... Mano, ele nunca tocou no jogo. Ele nunca jogou o jogo. Ele tem dificuldade de jogar o jogo, mas ele é o cara perfeito pro papel. Sabe? O cara... Você é doido, mano. Ele nunca tocou no jogo e incorpora o Joel melhor do que ser alguém que jogou o jogo, tá ligado? Ia incorporar, mano. É bizarro, mano. A capacidade que esse ator tem, mano, é um bagulho muito assustador, mano.
And I watch.
And the game's amazing, right?
Yeah, it's incredible. The fascinating thing for me, actually, is not having known the game before I got this job, but then doing my research, knowing that it came out in 2013, and realizing all of the things after that were so influenced by the game. Movies, other TV shows, other things that were so... I didn't realize that they were such direct influences from The Last of Us Part 1.
Thank you so much, Pedro. It was amazing. And I really looking forward to see the show.
I'm looking forward to you seeing it as well. I hope you like it.
Nossa, bizarro, mano. Simplesmente bizarro a capacidade que o ser humano tem, mano. É por isso que é pra poucos, né, mano? É pra poucos mesmo, velho. Ai, que vídeo maravilhoso, né, mano? 3 semanas atrás, ó, ele postou... ele postou quando lançou a série, né? Tava pra sair o primeiro episódio, mano. Nossa, mano, muito God, velho. Muito God, mano. Sinceramente, estou completamente fascinado. Vamos lá. Agora é a entrevista com o criador, mano. Let's go. Obrigado, Robson. Mano, eu já tinha falado isso, mas essa aqui é de longe a melhor série do ano. Nem... A gente tá em janeiro ainda, mas foda-se, tá ligado? É a melhor série do ano, mano. Não dá, cara. Não tem como eles conseguirem fazer alguma coisa melhor do que isso. E já é a melhor adaptação de jogo da história, mano. Porque é que nem eu falei. Você vê que é a melhor adaptação de jogo, mano, quando eu tô achando a série melhor do que o jogo, mano. A história eu tô achando mais bem construída, os personagens, tá ligado? Do jeito que estão fazendo as coisas, mano. E eles estão seguindo exatamente o que o cara falou ali. Eles querem seguir... justamente a linha tênue ali que tem sobre quem já jogou o jogo e quem não jogou o jogo, tá ligado? E tá conhecendo a série, mano. Mano, é igual eu falei, mano. Tipo, vai ganhar todos os Oscar e os caras do Oscar vai inventar categoria nova. Pra poder dar troféu extra, tá ligado? Vai falar, não tá suficiente, bota mais categoria aí, mano. Os caras merecem. Não, e pior que, tipo, eu também tava achando que ia ser mó ruim por causa daquele preconceito e medo, né? De toda adaptação de jogo... Netflix que eu diga, né? Ou de anime sempre fica podre. E essa aqui é a primeira de 1 milhão que a gente sabe que daqui em diante vai ficar bom, tá ligado? Porque daqui em diante, talvez a Netflix e as outras aprendam como é que se faz, tá ligado? Acho que a gente vai ver agora, Katira. Eu vi que o cara que fez o zumbi é fã do jogo, eu vi sobre isso.
Hello, Merle. It is really amazing. Because I'm from gaming, right? And seeing video game become a show with HBO, it's really unbelievable, actually, right? So, Neil, how it is to, after a long time in the gaming industry, and we know that Hollywood never looked so much to gaming in the last 3 decades, right? And now we have...
É mais estranho ver um brasileiro. Eu tô tão acostumado ao David Jones. Pô, cara, olha esse jogo aí, velho! E ele falando mal bem o inglês, tá ligado?
Game being made into a show at HBO.
Boa noite, Kazumi. Te amo, príncipe. Obrigado por ter ficado aqui na live com a gente, mano.
It's really amazing. How it is to you?
Beijinho na bochechinha, mano.
Incredible. I don't even know how to describe it.
Obrigado, príncipe, por ter ficado aqui com a gente, mano.
The Leftovers, The Wire, Watchmen. All these shows are like some of my favorite stories.
Nossa, ele gosta de Watchmen, mano.
Wire, Watchmen.
Nossa, ele gosta de Watchmen, mano. Caralho. Dale, mano.
All these shows are like some of my...
Mano, eu ainda vou fazer vocês assistir esse filme. A série eu não vi do Watchmen, mas com certeza é bom porque o filme é esplêndido de bom. E é muito antigo. Todo filme que é lá de 2000 parece que é bom, mano. É bizarro, velho.
My favorite stories of all time, not just
Eu tava
shows.
até pensando sobre isso, que meus filmes favoritos é tudo antigo, mano. Clube da Luta, o Watchmen, tá ligado? Esse filme é tudo, sabe, antigaço, mano.
But stories of all time, and to think that The Last of Us is gonna be...
O próprio Watchmen, o Cavaleiros das Trevas também, aquele Batman também é muito bom, mano, de 2000, acho que é 2008, sabe? A Origem, Efeito Borboleta. Só filme que é antigo, mas é muito bom, mano.
Amongst them is such a surreal experience.
Te amo muito,
And also
Kazumi. Bom
knowing
sono,
that,
velho.
first and foremost, a gamer and a game developer, but knowing that this story now will reach a wider audience and there's a community of
É que é
people.
verdade, né? Ainda mais pela época que a gente vive a época da tecnologia. A série do The Last of Us, principalmente se continuar bom desse jeito, vai pegar um alcance que eu não sei se passa o jogo, mas chega perto.
People that really enjoy these characters in the story, and to see it kind of grow larger is such a thrill.
Hello, Gabriel.
Hello, David.
Amazing having you here. And you know, Last of Us show based on a game, right? And I'm from gaming.
Okay, great, yeah.
How is your approach in gaming? Do you play games?
Ele falou brabo, ele falou great, mas...
And I'm from gaming.
Isso, colocou brabo.
Okay, great, yeah.
Great, how is your approach in gaming? Do you play games?
I do.
Really?
You know, I'm a 80s kid, so I kind of grew up with it, and my mom saved up a bunch of money to get a Nintendo, and unfortunately we lived in a...
Os americanos só tem Nintendo, mano. Aqui no Brasil, se você gosta de Nintendo, automaticamente você é crucificado e sofre, tá ligado? Lá fora é mais normal ter um Nintendo, mano. É porque o Nintendo só deu no Brasil, né?
Neighborhood, and somebody stole our Nintendo.
Really?
So it took a while to get another one, but my brother is really... If you've ever seen the movie
Aqui nós é PS2, né, mano? Desbloqueado.
Wizard, you've seen The Wizard?
5 jogos por 10 na farmácia, tá ligado?
My brother is like that. He's just an incredible gamer, and I'm growing up. I was kind of the guy that will like sit there while he's playing Zelda and be like, "Go do that, do that, do that, do that," because he's just kind of better with it. But yeah, I love games. I love story-driven games, FIFA and stuff like that.
Why are you so...
Puta, ele joga FIFA, mano. Jogador de Genshin Impact e jogador de FIFA a 100 km de distância, vendo quem dá mais desgosto pra família.
Somewhere out west. They're working on a cure. I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
If she so much as twitches.
Well, Marlene is a really complex. All characters in The Last of Us are really complex, but she like we see that she is good, right? She's a good person.
Is she? I believe she is.
Yes, I believe she is too, but she knows that she has to do a horrible thing, right? To do the greater good, right? It is a challenge that humanity faces always, right? How it is to you to play that character that it is essentially good, but needs to do a horrible thing to do the greater good, you know?
He'd said something about each character being under such, incredible stress, and I love that concept of how, what really
Eu também
comes
gosto desse conceito, agir sob pressão.
about when people are squeezed, and I think that's something that is wonderful character building, storytelling in any medium or any project that you for Marlene in particular, the choice that she has may not necessarily feel, even to her, to my sensibility, like it's the virtuous one. I do think that wherever she is working to be honorable and working to do the right thing for what's around her and
Eu tinha PlayStation 2, mas aí eu comprava aqueles CDs que tinha 300 jogos. Era desbloqueado e ia jogando. E esses CDs que tinha 300 jogos eram jogos lá de 1980, tá ligado? Foi por isso que eu joguei tanto Mega Man e os Crash antigão, mano.
the world at large.
If I'm taking you with me.
E Sonic, eu joguei. Mano, eu acho que não teve um Sonic que eu não joguei. Tipo, daquela geração de lançamentos do Sonic até 2005 ali, eu devo ter jogado todos os Sonics, mano.
Say when I say it.
Todos os Sonics, todos os Mario e todos os Mega Man, mano.
You got any advice on the best way west? Yeah, go east.
This is a really huge story-driven game, right? Do you know about The Last of Us before they ask you to?
No, well, I knew of it. I mean, it was absolutely knew of it. It was it's difficult. You had to be living on Mars to not know about The Last of Us.
Ô, louco, ó, ele alfinetou o Joey, mano, porque o Joey falou que não conhecia, velho. Aí ele ainda falou que já tinha ouvido falar, mano.
You know, and of course I played it very briefly in 2013 when the game came out. I didn't have a PlayStation, but my friend did, so I went to his house and he had games, and I was like, well, what is this? I put it in.
Nossa,
and
Mega
it was
Man X
exciting.
era...
I played maybe
tá
the
doido.
first 30 minutes of it, and I was like, wow, this is really great.
The first 30 minutes is really impactful, right?
And so I just and then didn't play it again until I got the job, and I was like, well, I guess I should do my research.
This time, we've seen a lot of TV shows based on video games, and most of them are not that good, right? But this time they
É da hora porque brasileiro é foda, né? Aqui o Dava queria falar, e essa série de hoje em dia de jogo aí é tudo uma bosta, é tudo podre. Mas aí ele tá no meio dos atores, os diretores, né? Aí ele, e a série hoje em dia não são tão bons assim. Parece a minha transição da Twitch pro YouTube, tá ligado? Aqui na Twitch eu falo, a Mihoyo tem que tomar no meio do cu dela, tem que se fuder, mano. Aí no YouTube eu falo, a Mihoyo não ajuda tanto assim, sabe? Tá ligado? Uma coisa, mano.
brought you to the production to help with a lot of stuff. So I need to ask, how faithful the series is with the source material?
I think this will be the most authentic video game adaptation.
Caralho, mano, aqui ele botou... ética, sim. Mano, aqui ele botou as minhas e expectativas de todo mundo que gosta do jogo lá em cima, mano. Essa é a adaptação de videogames mais autêntica de todas, caralho. Até porque não é muito difícil, né? Comparado aos outros, né? Já que tá comparando com outros, não é muito difícil mesmo, não, mano.
Ever, and I think it'll be years before anybody catches up.
That's
how
ousado, até o Dave, ousado, hein, mano.
Confident I feel about it. It doesn't mean we're copying it, because I think that would be a mistake. That has happened before, and I think people have made that mistake. We understand the strength of the story, and it's what's fundamentally...
Mano, pior que é isso aqui, né? É transmitir a essência, não é copiar. É transmitir a essência, mano. É só isso, velho. Por isso eu tô falando, ele tá botando fé, entrevistando. Se a série daria ruim, nunca mais na vida ia parar de falar mal.
Essential about it.
E o Dava assistiu, né? O pessoal falou que ele assistiu todos os episódios, menos o último. O Dava sabe, tá ligado? E ele jogou o jogo, ele sabe, tá ligado? E ele é fã mesmo, mano. E se ele falou que tá bom, então vamos acreditar, né, mano?
What's unique to video games that you shouldn't replicate in another medium because you will fall flat on your face. It just will not work.
Mano, mas é igual ele falou, é só você pegar a essência, não mudar a essência, você altera algumas coisas melhorando elas, igual no último episódio lá, que o 3 que a gente viu agora há pouco, foi maravilhoso, tá ligado? Construiu um personagem que no jogo nem aparece, tá ligado? E deixou muito melhor, mano. Mas não mudar a essência, tá ligado? O Joe perde a filha, tudo vai certinho até chegar no último episódio lá, que a gente já sabe, né? Aí é só manter aquilo, entendeu? Os outros você vai construindo devagarzinho, mano.
How do we deviate and expand on it in this other medium in a way that we couldn't in the video game?
Não mudar o conceito da história, tá ligado?
You play Tommy, right?
I did.
And Tommy is he is in the beginning and then only in the game, right? And only in the far from the game, right? Yeah. Do you use the source material to learn about Tommy?
I did. I mean, I love Jeffrey Pierce and what he did with the character. I love his voice. I'm from the area that the game is set, so I've
Texas, right?
From Texas, yeah.
Ele é do Texas, mano.
From Austin, so I just there's so much of the character that already was me.
Só um idiota ia chorar com o episódio de ontem.
I did utilize it in the sense that just a little bit of the, to me he reminds me of like a young Chris Christopherson, and that's kind of what I went with the character. I kind of wanted to play him like a young Christopherson. He's a soldier, somebody who's been through hell as a soldier, been through war, experienced that, and came out the other side a different person. Just somebody who wanted to leave the fighting in the past, and although he's very skilled and very capable of violence, he's not one to immediately go to violence as the first solution. But when the world becomes what it is, he has to absolutely utilize that skill set. So I just I did use the game, and I loved, but I also drew on a lot of my own personal experience. We were very similar to people, I feel.
Everybody I have cared for has either died or left me.
You have no idea what loss is.
Bro, you played Marlene in the games, right?
Yeah.
So when you came to the production, I think that you were the only one from that knew everything about the game when you got the show, right?
Yeah, some of the voice actors did come in different roles, but I'm the only character to play the same character in both iterations.
Pera, como assim? Ela é a dubladora da Marlene? Aí ela dubla a Marlene no jogo, no inglês, e tá atuando como ela? É isso?
The most glaring thing that threw me off when I first stepped into it, and as I realized walking into Marlene, I always had Neil's like quiet in my ear, so and there was always the
Nossa, que legal, velho, que foda, mano.
Just I guess kind of
então ela é a mais experiente aqui, mano. Nossa, tá doido, mano. Nossa, que legal, velho.
Knowing, so to communicate about and within Marlene in a different way without that kind of symbiotic, almost like emotional umbilical cord, was something that I had to recalibrate to. Also, actually walking her out and walking in her shoes rather than, representing something that another artist would elaborate on later. A hurdle that I needed to step over before I could immerse myself into the new genre.
I remember Merle called me one day and she's nervous about playing Marlene on the show. And I'm like, why are you nervous? You helped come up with this character. Like, this is such a collaboration. And yeah, we talked backstory and stuff, but she's Marlene. There's like, I can't see it a different way.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Nossa, a pessoa muda, hein? Quando vai atuar, a pessoa parece que vira outra pessoa, mano. Ô, Goncalo, boa noite.
Be careful who you put your faith in.
In the games, Tommy is like it's Joe's brother, right? And they have a fallout this 20 years and they split. For me, Tommy shows that the apocalypse, right? Doesn't need to change you into a monster, right? Because Joe became this really dark person after. Of course, he has the death of his daughter, this really traumatic, but everybody lost people in the apocalypse, right? And Tommy didn't change like Joe did.
É verdade, né? O Tommy continuou o mesmo, mano.
Do you think that this is shown in the show too? Because in the game it's really clear when they two meet, and Tommy is not that monster that Joe turned into in the apocalypse.
I think it was really it's his nature, right? He is someone who has seen the monstrosities of war already. He's seen what humans can do to each other. So when these monsters appear, there's literal monsters. I think the story of The Last of Us is equally about the dangers of these infected and the dangers of just humans towards each other when resources are limited. And I think that he knows this. He's seen the world
hoje não, Robson. Hoje
of
não.
mankind, and I think it's already in his nature to be balanced in that way, in terms of how he responded to the world as it became what it becomes. So I just think it was already in his spirit to be that way, and I guess he had a greater defense against becoming the world, right?
Monstro.
Yeah, thank you, David.
Bom, acho que eu já falei tudo, né? Sobre a série assim. Que a gente tem uma puta expectativa boa, mas dá pra ser suprido fácil, sabe? Tipo, já começou muito bem. É só manter do jeito que tá, sabe? Não precisa mudar. Não precisa... Eles podem ousar um pouco, se não tirar o conceito da série, né? Eles já mudaram e a gente já tá confiando. Sabe? A gente já não tá... Eu mesmo já não tô com medo de continuar assistindo a série, porque todos os episódios... Ah, eu já vi já o...
Tá
do
muito
Dava,
bem aí,
já, eu já vi já o Catira, eu já vi já sobre... Tá muito bom, mano. É só manter assim, velho. É que dá um medo, né? As outras foram tão podre que dá um medo de acontecer de novo, mas dessa vez eu boto fé que vai ser a série do... Eu ia dizer do século, mas eu vou dizer do ano. Série do ano. Boto fé de verdade, mano. Espero que eles consigam manter as coisas assim, tá ligado? Porque me assusta um pouco, mas ainda assim eu tenho uma expectativa boa. Sabe? Me dá medo, mas acho que dá pra eles. Acho que dá. Dá. Boto fé.